Guys, going on lice patrol as a nursing student. Okay? Now, there was a section in nursing school called community health. And it was we would go on these clinicals. And what community health was about is that you'd go out in the community and help to solve health problems, okay? And one very common health problem, it's more a nuisance than anything else, is lice, okay? And it's mostly kids that are involved with that, these kids, they get lice in school. And, hey man, I'm sure I got lice a couple times in school. I'm sure I did, It's very, very common, okay? And, it's you can get it. It's contagious, right? It's contagious, and you get it through, contact. And so we would go to these schools and as nursing students, and we would inspect the heads of these kids. They gave us these wooden sticks, and we would get the kid at the table and have them put their head over the table, and we'd get these wooden sticks, and we'd be opening up their hair to look in there for the lice. And you don't really see the louse itself, the little bug. You see the eggs that are glued to the hair shafts, right? Because the lice, they run around. They can try to avoid you. They can avoid you seeing them. So you would see the eggs glued to the hair shaft, and then you'd pluck out the little hair shaft, and we had this little microscope that we could observe the hair shaft, and we could see the egg. And that way we could identify which kids had lice and which didn't. And I tell you what, the girls had more lice than the boys. They did. Now why? Why do you suppose that could be? Girls are more likely to get close with their friends. They're more likely to rub their heads together. They're more likely to share things like hats, share things like brushes. They have longer hair, so that's just more environment for the lice to live in. So yeah, it was the girls who usually, we'd find more girls than boys that had lice, right? But yeah, in nursing school, I got a pretty good dose of lice patrol. I mean, my whole community health was looking for lice. And then, we were given a specific assignment to do. Each one of us was given a specific assignment to do. And mine just happened to be lice again. I got another lice project. And this one there was this kid that was going to school, and he kept coming with lice. And, the school would send him home and tell the parents to do the treatment. And, I guess the parents would do the treatment, but, the kid kept ending up with lice. And, the school's getting sick of it. And, the parents are getting sick of it too, because, they're doing the treatment, and the school keeps sending the kid back, and so they don't understand each other. The school's not understanding the parents, and the parents aren't understanding the school. So the school wanted someone to go to that house and find out what's going on. Like it's a mystery. It's a lice mystery, guys. And guess who they picked to go and solve it? Right? It was me. So my nursing school instructor picked me to go to this house and see if I could find out what's going on. So I go to this house, I get the address, I go to this house. I don't think they gave me a phone number. I think they just gave me an address. So I went to the house unannounced, and I just knocked on the door. I got my little nursing student badge on, And, the mom opens the door, and, I introduce myself. I'm from the nursing school, and, we wonder if we could, if I could, take a look at your son. And the mom, she's like, no, everything's taken care of, and we don't need your help, and so don't worry about it. So, okay, great. But also in my head, I was thinking about my grade. I need a grade for this course, right? I hope what she said is true. I don't know what she said is true, but I know that I can't go back to the nursing school and just put that on my paper that mom says everything's fine. That's not going to get me a grade. So I did my best to talk my way into the house. Hey, can you let me take a look? I got my little microscope. Let's just make sure. So I was able to talk my way in. She let me come in, and I met her son, and he was a bit mentally slow. Okay, he was one of those kids, like mentally, not as far along as other kids. Anyway, I sat him down at the kitchen table, and I got out my little sticks, which are disposable, one set for each kid. And I go through his hair, and I'm looking through. I don't really see much, but I did find a few eggs in there. He didn't have a lot, but I did find some. And I plucked one out, and I showed the mom under the microscope the eggs. That's a proof. And, hey, your kid does have lice. So, let me go to the store, get the treatment, and I'll come and I'll treat your kid's, hair. She said, okay. So I went to the store, I bought it with my own money, I came back, and I gave her kid a treatment right there. I guess I didn't have to go that far, probably didn't have to do all that, but I did. I gave him a treatment. I got that little comb, combed out the lice, and I did a pretty good treatment. So, but the thing is, a lot of times lice doesn't just affect one person in the family. It can affect everybody because, let's say the kid lays down on the couch, and then the mom comes, lays down on the couch, and that stuff can spread. It can spread from one family member to the other easily. So I told the mom, let me check you. Let me see how if you have any. And she's got this long black hair, and she, pretty thick. And she, oh no, I don't have any lice. That for sure I don't have any. I know I don't have any, so everything's fine. So that's all we need. But I had that feeling, guys. I had that feeling. So, I talked to the mom a little bit more, and I guess I can be pretty persuasive. I was able to talk her into allowing me to inspect her hair. So, she sat there, and I started by getting my new little wooden sticks. I opened up her hair. I just opened it up. Immediately, guys, all full of eggs. Guys, I didn't have to look. I didn't have to search at all. I just parted her hair. I saw so many. I didn't need my microscope. I didn't have to look at all. It's all there. So, I closed it back up, and I said, yeah, I see that you've got these, you've got it too. And look, guys, I was not gonna treat that long, thick hair. No way was I gonna do that. She's gonna have to do that. I think I plucked one out. I did pluck one out and showed her the proof that she has it too. But yeah, there's just a lot of, denial in that family. She denied it until I showed her the proof. And, even after I left, that family continued having these problems, it just guys, denial is a very strong sentiment that we human beings have. And you know, when someone tells you that you have something undesirable, you know, something that's looked down upon, a lot of times it's just human nature to deny it. You know, it is. So you know, I don't know if they ever. I heard later on in my nursing courses that family kept having problems, that they just, and I told my instructor, I told my instructor, you know what, the mom has it too. The mom has it too. I opened up the hair and it's just all full. So they're passing it back and forth. They treat the kid, but they don't treat the mom. And then you have to treat the linens and you know, so many things you have to treat. And if you don't do a complete treatment, it just keeps coming back. You know, so hey, that's my story, guys. So I am a mini lice expert, and no, they don't jump from one head to the next. They don't. You don't get it just from being in the same room with someone with lice. You know, you have to get pretty close contact. Anyway, all right, I'm a mini expert on lice. Yeah. Take care.